What's going on, everybody? LK here. Today we're going to talk about why you feel like everybody you're playing against plays the same. So this is something you generally hear when a new fighting game drops. It's one of the criticisms that you will hear from people. To be fair to Street Fighter 6, I'm not hearing this too much. I had definitely heard it about some characters like my good friend Honda, Mr. Edmund, Honda, Sumo Master. For some other games, like this was a big thing in Stripe, DBFZ also. It might just be a thing for every game that's not called Street Fighter, but one of the criticisms you generally hear from a new fighting game is that everyone plays the same, there's no creativity, there's no room for player expression. I want to kind of dive into this actually because most people just write it off as like, oh, this person just like hates the game or something, but this might be surprising coming from me too if you've watched other videos I made or like follow me on Twitter or whatever. I think there is merit behind the statement, and I really sat down and I was like, why do people feel this way? Whether or not I actually think it's correct, because basically I don't think this statement is correct. I think it's wrong, but I understand why people say that, or at least I think I do. The first reason why I think you or anyone else would think that people all play the same would be because of the speed that we can share stuff now. You know, people be posting clips on Twitter, people be fighting day one combos really quickly, and people will just copy what they think is good and see what is good, basically. When I started fighting games, I started with Multi-Blood at Cadenza. Before that, I played SSBM, so Super Smash Bros. Melee. This means I'm playing Melee in like 2005 to like 2007-ish, around when Brawl came out. And there's a player, you might have heard of him. Shout out to my boy Mewtwo King for this one, right? He taught me how to play Marth, okay? So I copied his Marth. Everything that you would see him do in like an MLG video, 144p, that was tested on me. And what I ended up doing is I would take the stuff he was doing to me, and then I would do it to people. Now the thing is though, there's like not a lot of videos of him playing, Mewtwo King playing. So when I go show up and I do Mewtwo King stuff, everyone's shocked. They're like, what's going on? Like, I've never seen that before. I've never seen that edge guard before. Now, you know, top players stream all the time, so you can watch those. It's way easier to find stuff on YouTube. People post tech clips. It's very, very easy to find clips online. So people will just take the stuff that they see is good and they'll just do that. But this actually connects to the second reason why, and it's the focus on meta picks. So games are made simpler at a baseline. When people say like fighting games are more simple than they used to be, developers have identified some things about fighting games where they think it makes the game easier to get into. These include things like the damage being high, wink wink, Guilty Gear Strive, combo conversion ability, as in how often will your hits lead into meaningful combos, how hard is it to anti-air people like jumping. A fighting game that has really good anti-airs is kind of hard for new people to get into, but a fighting game that has not good anti-airs would be easier for people to get into. And because of these things, when a new game comes out and everyone's rushing to figure out like what's good and what's not good, once a meta is established, especially when people are like, this character is broken or ruined the game or whatever, the combination of the speed of information being shared and people's focus on meta characters, you will find that the characters that are considered popular winning characters in tournament, when you play against people like online or maybe at a local, if you're the type of person who goes to offline events, you will notice like that mid-level play, they really are actually kind of the same player because they're doing things they see the top player innovators and honers, shout out to Corey Gaming, do, and they're adding that to their gameplay. They're seeing the strong, simple, effective strategies work between tournaments and things like Twitter, YouTube, etc., and they're just doing that. I'm not saying that you specifically need a unique playstyle to win in a fighting game. That's not necessarily true. But if you feel like you're being put in the same repeated situations by your opponent, not by you, but by your opponent a lot, that's a really, really big factor, because where are they getting their info? Where are they getting their tactics? Where are they getting their combos from? Then 3 is definitely conversion ability. So the ability for a character to combo off all of their hits automatically makes them much more of a streamlined experience. You can almost say flowchart, match flow, compared to a character that cannot do such a thing. Actually, in the past, like around when I was playing like Persona 4 Arena, I had a very unpopular take. People despise this take from me. I mean, what else is new? But I used to say that there actually is a perfect way to play a fighting game. I mean, again, you gotta remember where I came from too. Like I learned how to play competitive games from people called MTK the Robot, right? So that's where I learned from, like the competitive video game mindset. And all the games that I'm from, so Multi-Blood at Cadenza, Melty Blood Actress again, Blaze Blue, and then Persona 4 Arena, one thing that these games all had in common was that when you got hits, you would just get combos. You would just get big combos. Mitsuru is a little bit of an exception here, but once I went to Guilty Gear, it was a huge problem for me that Milia just didn't get combos off all her hits. You would either have to plan around this between like, oh, against Faust and Exerd, the main buttons you use always lead into combos, or Slayer happens to be slightly wider when he's getting hit compared to other characters, so you can convert this way. There was a lot of like little things that I would have to pay attention to that I would not have to pay attention to in other games where I could just combo off all your hits. And once I played a game where combo conversion ability was not so consistent, that's where I started seeing a lot more of like why quick decision making matters, because these situations, the frame data really varies, like how much advantage you have really varies, and you need a plan by character instantly, basically, because you're not getting your guaranteed, oh, I got a hit, that means I go into this knockdown where I cover these options and do this mix up so that I keep pushing. So what that means is then, if you think everyone plays a character the same way, part of the reason is that for sure they probably can combo more than other characters. I think like characters like Nago and HC really get the short end of the stick here, because they get, especially HC, Happy Chaos, if you're playing Guilty Gear Strive, because they really just combo off everything. Happy Chaos combos off everything, so you'll just see them kind of pressing in the same spots because they're going to get a full combo into wall break if they feel like it, or like the Nago player is going to corner carry you in the same way and meet you with the same button, because the nature of having a character that can combo up all their stuff means their game plan is very consistent. Because the question of what can Happy Chaos do to you when he hits you with like a 2P, he can just combo you, right? Where compared to, let's say, Asuka, right? So Asuka or Zato is another example. Both those characters can't really combo after 2Ps. Asuka needs one of two spells in order to do it, and Zato basically just gets to bash jab into summon, and the summon he picks depends on his resource, what matchups he's in, etc. So when you can't combo up all your stuff, there's way more decisions you have to make than when you can. So those are like the main three things I think that make people think this way, and that's where this myth comes from. But again, there's truth in it, right? There's just some characters, if the game has this aspect of you can't combo off all your hits, then characters that get that privilege, you will really feel like, oh, everyone's a robot, everyone does the same stuff. Besides the people who are pushing the character to their absolute limits, right? Between the tech monsters who are trying to find new techniques for the characters, and the top players of the characters who are trying to pick what the best techniques are to use against each of their opponents. So I mean, how do you make it obvious that not everybody plays the same, though? I think it's kind of an interesting question. Probably the best way to do it, especially in modern fighting games, is just make it so you can't combo up all your hits. I think Guilty Gear does this in a really good way. This is a very general rule. Of course, all characters do things differently, but they have a general rule of you generally don't get combos off your far hits, or you don't get like big combos at least off your far hits, and then you get good combos off like your close hits. And I think that's like a nice easy way to do it. Another way that people tend to like, and this is why you see this so much in characters and also new fighting games like Street Fighter 6, is having some type of resource you have to manage, because at least for a while people won't know how to use the resource quote unquote optimally. So there'll be a while where people are just using the resource different, and then even when people figure out like, okay, this is basically how we do these things, there will still be situations, even when you can combo off all your hits, where you have to make choices based off the resource, and not everybody will make the same choices in the same situation. I think that's really the big two. I think when you watch like tournament play or high level play, you see it pretty clearly. This is like one of the main comments I get when I play Baiken, is people are just like, you just do stuff I've never seen Baiken players do before. I thought I knew everything Baiken could do until I saw you play. I mean, I think this is just like, it makes sense again because of how quickly things are shared and how people are like, oh, well, this is the good thing that you do and that's it type of thing. But I don't really think it's true, and honestly it's not necessarily a bad thing, even though people use it as like a slight against a certain game. Most people will say that that's like a bad thing and that everyone should look different, but like to me, like, it's fine. Like, if people look the same, it means they're just doing what the character is supposed to do. You know what I mean? The main thing that makes you unique when you're playing a game is the choices that you make in a unique situation. So in my opinion, the best thing they could do is just give you the opportunity to make more choices. Anyway, let me know what you guys think though. As usual, if you have any questions or comments, definitely feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you guys feel like it, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.